Hey guys, it's Rod with Civil Advantage Firearms Training here again. Today we're going to talk about how much ammo do you need to have in your inventory. So a couple of things. When I think of how much ammo I need, depends what I need it for. So we can talk all day long about the zombie apocalypse and how much ammunition you're going to run through when you have 1.5 million zombies moving in on your location. But there's a rumor floating around out there that zombies aren't real. As distressing as it might be, they might be right. But zombie apocalypse aside, not that it couldn't happen, but that aside, the perspective that I'm looking at this from is just a high volume shooter. Someone like myself that likes to shoot at least once a month, which is what you need to shoot if you're going to stay sharp at all. If you invest time and money into any kind of combat rifle, combat pistol training, or you do any tactical shooting, that kind of stuff, you have to shoot at least once a month, or you're just going to lose all those skills. And it's not that it's wasted money, but it goes down quick. Ask me how I know. So anyway, if you're going to shoot once a month, whenever you do shoot, you're going to burn through at least 300 rounds of rifle ammunition and or 200 to 300 rounds of pistol, depending on how long of a day you have ahead of you. But that's about what you should be burning through. About 300 rounds of rifle for sure, and then pistol. If you're only shooting pistol, 300 or 400 rounds for sure. How long does that take? 3 hours on the range? Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. So if we think of it from that perspective, once a month, 300 rounds of rifle, if we just picked on the rifle for now, 10 months, 3,000 rounds, right? So give that some thought. So in my mind, you have 5 firearms to feed in your inventory. You have your primary semi-auto rifle. And you guys know what I mean by primary semi-auto rifle. It's your go-to rifle. You have your primary semi-auto pistol. If you shoot semi-auto, most people do. You have a long-range rifle or a bolt-action or hunting rifle. That rifle for me is an M14. So it's still a semi-auto, but it's long-range. You're not going to go through the volume of ammunition like you will with a semi-auto lighter caliber rifle like an AR-15, which is my rifle of choice. Then you have a shotgun, and then of course you have a 22 for planking and for small game or whatever, survival rifle, what have you. So what kind of levels for those firearms? Well, what I recommend, and you guys, again, it's just my opinion, right? Just from my own experience. I'm sure you guys' experience is all going to be different. Make sure that you comment on it and help your fellow shooter. But from my experience, I would say you need a minimum of 3,000 rounds for your semi-auto go-to rifle. If you think about that, if you're shooting, that's consumed in 10 months. Now when I say 3,000 rounds minimum, that means I built up an inventory of 3,000 rounds, and as I shoot it, I replace it. So I guess the mindset that I'm thinking of is, if someone were to shut it off right there, boom, no more ammo, that's it, I'm going to have 3,000 rounds. So I just want to share with you my methodology with the semi-auto rifle. So in those 3,000 rounds, per se, depends on when, the snapshot in time that I'm looking at my inventory, but let's say it's today or just some day when I've got round amounts sitting. I have 1,000 rounds of military grade 5.56 NATO that is hollow point. And that 1,000 rounds is stored in these types of cans. The cans were open. I have 2 buckets, big buckets of the RV dehumidifier, those buckets called damp red, right? They suck all the moisture out of the air. When I buy this ammo, I put it in these ammo cans with the lid open. I let it sit there for a week. I walk into the gun safe, close it right away. Now I've got no moisture at all in that can, and it's sealed. And that 1,000 rounds, I don't touch. It never gets shot. Been sitting there for years. Not even going to open that can. It's perfect. Then I have another 1,000 rounds. And that 1,000 rounds is American Eagle Tactical. And yeah, it's not the best ammo out there, but it's sure a lot better than a lot of the steel case stuff I've been shooting, right? It's the bomb. It's a Cadillac compared to the, I don't want to put down MFS, but it's cheap stuff and it's steel case and it's, pretty flashy too, oddly enough. But so it's not MFS, it's actually nice brass case stuff and it's very reliable. Same treatment. So now I've got 2,000 that I'll never even put my hands on. Now I build up my supply of 5.56 past that. So I've had situations where I've had far more 5.56, but I never let it go past 1,000 rounds of my shooting ammo. So my shooting ammo is typically either the MFS stuff or it's the Chinese Norinco stuff that was around. If you can get a hold of that, it's pretty good. It's inexpensive, it's brass too, which is kind of neat. It can be spotty, but nonetheless, the cheapest ammo I can find, that's what I shoot every day. So side note, some people say train with what you're gonna shoot. In just my opinion, guys, just my opinion, I don't care about that. 223 doesn't have a recoil that I'm worried about. Even 9mm operational ammo isn't that much different than some cheap ammo that goes boom. If it can cycle the slide, I'm down to roll with it. I mean, look at the IPSC guys. The IPSC guys load their own ammunition for their pistols, and it's barely enough to cycle the slide. It's like shooting a 22, and it's supposedly 9mm. You know, are they wasting all their time? No, they're getting to know their firearm. So still good to train with whatever you can. So 3,000 rounds, split it up any way you like it. But as you shoot it, the minute you go below 300, buy another 1,600 rounds or another 1,000, or the minute you get below 3,000. Make sure that you're replenishing it, so if the day came and they said no more ammo, or there's a shortage or whatever, you're sitting there on 3,000 rounds, just go, no problem, I'll just shoot 100 rounds when I go to the range for a while, till I weather the storm. Primary pistol, I'm going to say the same thing, 3,000 rounds. I have 1,000 rounds of Winchester Ranger hollow point operational ammunition, and I have never shot one round of that stuff. I preserved it very much the way that I just described. I'll never open that box unless I need to. That's it. So 1,000 sitting there, and the rest of the ammo that I buy, I'll buy steel case stuff. I'll buy the cheapest stuff that goes boom, that'll cycle the slide. I'm happy with that. But again, a pistol is a high volume firearm as well, so make sure that you have at least 3,000 rounds kicking around. More is better, I guess, too, but 3,000 at a bare minimum. The long range rifle for me is an M14, and for the M14 I always have 500 rounds. Probably 200 rounds of that is actually hunting rounds, hollow point, Winchester, I've got a couple of different kinds. I think I got some green tips there. All that stuff is really good to have. Preserve it, put it off to the side, don't shoot it. But with a bolt action 308 or larger, a 30-06 Springfield, or anything else like that, you're not going to shoot the high volume, and 500 rounds certainly would probably do you. If you can afford to stockpile more, that's good. It's just going to prevent you from having to be exposed to high prices if they go up and you're low and you got to buy. Shotgun, you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a shotgun guy. You're probably all already well aware that I'm not a huge shotgun fanatic. So for me, I'd say if you can stockpile 250 rounds of birdshot, or even heavy game, which is what, number 4, something like that would be adequate. Like for me, it certainly would. And then what I would recommend though is at least bare minimum 100, if not 200 rounds of slug or buck shot, because that's the real business ammunition for the shotgun. So other than that, I think you'd be in pretty good shape. When it comes to 22, I don't think anyone has any excuse to have less than 2,000 rounds kicking around. It's so cheap. You can buy one of those Remington bucket of bullets of the 22, 5,000 round bucket. Get one of those, and you can eat into it if you want to, but I mean, even if it's half empty, you still got 2,500 rounds there. So make sure that you have 2,000 rounds of 22. It's a handy little gun to have for plinking in small game, as you know. So anyway, as I said, guys, it's just my opinion. It's just what I do. If you have any information or experience you want to share, or maybe you were an avid shooter and you said, yeah, I remember in '86 there was no ammunition to be had anywhere and prices skyrocketed, but thank goodness I had an inventory. If you have any kind of experience like that to share, please put it in the comments. I would love to learn something from you guys too, which I do every time I make a video. I learn something from you guys, so I really appreciate it. Anyway, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at Civil Advantage 1. Or you can find us on the web at www.civiladvantage.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.